Jon Jansen, let's not waste any time. Let's talk some NFL. And, of course, the Philadelphia Eagles come away with a tough, hard-nosed victory, hard-fought victory at home. Did it need to be so interesting?
No. I wish no Eagles game is interesting.
Yeah, those guys are professionals, as they say on the other side. The Commanders, they can move the football. They can throw it. There's no excuses. The Eagles should have pulled away and handled business at home. It didn't happen.
No, it didn't. But, it happens, especially in that kind of game where Washington is actually playing well. Like, I think Sam Howell played well. I thought Eric Bieniemy called a great game.
Yes.
And you're coupling that with the Eagles secondary being banged up. They had injuries all
Correct.
over safety.
Yes.
They have an injury with their slot cornerback as well with Devontae Maddox. So Joby has to play a lot. So it's just a marriage of a lot of things that turned out what that game was, especially Washington throwing the ball and Sam Howell being so successful. But I mean, it's the NFL though.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if it was that easy to win games like that as a favorite, nobody would ever bet underdog. You would just bet the favorite in Vegas always. They're always going to cover. They're always going to win. But Sean, guess what? That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Ever. That's why we bet underdogs. That's why good gamblers, at least, I don't know if I'm a good one or I consider myself one, but good bettors look for those edges, look for the points, look for close games that people don't think are going to be close because it's the NFL and it happens. And it happened to the Eagles. It happened to the damn Chiefs.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson torched the Chiefs secondary.
No, he didn't.
It happens.
He didn't torch him.
And the second half he did.
Yeah, right.
I didn't watch it though. I don't know.
That's
what I'm seeing.
Anything.
I don't know. I was watching videos. Some of those throws are really good. But also Sam Howell looked really good. I thought he just made some great throws. It's okay that Washington played well against the Eagles. I don't think it needs to be any crazy panic alarm button situation.
No.
They won. They're 4-0. They just won a division game and a game that maybe their defense didn't play their best. Fine. And they still won the game.
Yeah, there's a stat floating around about how teams, and we talked about this all off season long, like what would be the flaw? How did the Eagles open up and not win games? And the only thing that we had was the hangover effect. Bottom line is you nailed it. This team won again. They're 4-0. If you took them at home and given the 8 points, I feel for you because I thought that they were going to cover that number, even though that they were down by double digits. It's just the expectation with this offense. A.J. Brown going for $175. Shout out to my former coworker, Joe DeCamera, saying, we got to do something about this A.J. Brown deal. What do you mean?
Wait, what?
What do we got to do?
I mean, what one? What deal? The deal where he had 9 catches for 170-something yards and 2 touchdowns?
I have no idea what he meant.
How do we deal with that?
Was I watching
What do you
the
do?
same game?
How do you deal with that, Sean? That's too much success. Dial it back. Dial it back,
Is that what he meant?
Pink cleats? Are you kidding me? Dial it back, AJ.
That's what he meant, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. What he meant.
Who knows?
Who knows? Well, he was fantastic yesterday.
But let's point out the flaws if we could, because that's what we do here. And this team is talking about championship, capabilities. And one thing that they're lacking, and this where I'm going, it's the defensive pass rush. Now they had 3 sacks yesterday, but it's not there. It's just not consistent enough. And this is October 1. So we're now into another month. We're going to get closer and closer. I could look at the offense gelling. I could look at play calling improving. I could look at a number of things that maybe people could nitpick about this team moving in a progressive direction of getting better, improving, right? I can't see this from the defensive side of the ball getting after the quarterback. I just don't know where this is going to come from. Hassan Reddick had a sack yesterday. Actually, no, they had more than 3.
Yeah, they did. Because Nicholas Morrow, I think, had
5
by himself.
Five. Correct. Morrow had 3 by himself. Excuse me. They gave up 3. Yeah, so 5 sacks.
Nicholas Morrow was incredible.
But my point is, it's just like it's not there when you need it in those crunch times. Now, I know the defense was tired, but you got to be able to get a sack, and you can't allow these teams to just chew up clock and go on 12 play drives at the end of the fourth quarter. It just can't happen. And that's the frustrating part about yesterday more than anything for me. And I'm sure a lot of people are in the same boat as we are here, where it's just like giving up that touchdown at the end of regulation. Come on, way too interesting to go to overtime and to sneak away with a dub, because if it goes to OT, anything is possible. One big play, a kick return, touchdown, it's over. And you can't have that when you're talking about getting home field advantage, and we know how important that's going to be because these are the games that they got to win, John. We talked about 6-0. They're staring 6-0 right in the face. You got to win these games because it's only going to get more difficult with the Bills, the Dolphins, the Niners, the Cowboys. The best of the best is coming up. So they got to win these games. They did. I'm happy. But if I could just nitpick a little bit, I'm worried about the pass rush. I love the guys up the middle. I love the way that they're battling as far as shutting down the run game. I don't think the Commanders did all that much as far as running the football. They had 107 total yards. Main guy, Robinson, I think had 45 plus, if I'm not mistaken. We know that that's going to be the backbone of the operation, the strength. But you got to sack the quarterback. You got to get there. And I'm just worried about that.
I mean, I think it's okay to be worried about it at this point because Reddick's just done.
Spoiled from last year. Let me just cut you off and
certainly
say
spoiled from last year. Yeah.
Yes.
They were never going to repeat that. So if you were looking for 70 sacks again or whatever, was it 70 sacks? Yeah, I think
I'm looking for a team that's
a crazy
10,
number.
Top 10. Going into this game, there was 11 teams with double-digit sacks. The Eagles had 6.
I don't think it's overall been terrible, but I think it does need to be better because this was a game. I didn't think Sam Howell was getting the ball out that quick.
Mm-hmm.
There were opportunities to get him, and he just had all day back there. I don't know if Reddick is going to be himself again this year. I don't know. It's Josh Sweat. We've been seeing signs, flashes of somebody that could be a good pass rusher, but he's inconsistent. Brandon Graham was their best pass rusher yesterday.
I agree.
And that can't be the case when you have a guy who's how old and been in the league how long being your best pass rusher. And also a linebacker that's not traditionally a pass rusher being your best pass rusher in Nicholas Morrow. Yeah, I think defensive end is a bit of a worry here. I don't know if there's anything scheme related you can change to do that because everything worked last year. Is it just trying to get those guys back into a similar scheme? I didn't think really much changed with the defense at all in terms of that, but maybe it did. I don't know. I'm not seeing the same play last year that we did, especially from Hassan Reddick. I think there is something wrong with Reddick, and it's got to be more than just an injury at this point.
Yeah, look, it made sense from the thumb. He couldn't get off, and, that's going to be difficult for him, especially if he's going through pain. Understood. Did he look a little bit better yesterday? Sure. And I don't want to harp on this. It's just one thing that's on my mind. You and I watched the game together, and we, when they're going down the field in the fourth quarter, we all know what's at stake. You just got to get there. You have to complete it. Now, they came away with 5 sacks. They got 11 on the season. They're middle of the pack, but we know that it's an area that they need to improve on if we're talking about a championship contender, a team that will be a lock to win come playoff time.
Yeah, I think yesterday was the worst of it because you had an offensive line that just gave up 9 sacks in the last game to Buffalo.
Correct.
An offensive line that could be beat, and a team that is Sam Howell's going to hold on to the ball because he's not the best quarterback, so he doesn't see things as well, and he's not throwing with great timing all the time. You can get to him, and the Eagles just weren't able to get to him. They did 5 sacks, fine, but still way too many plays in between that where he just had way too much time. The good thing, though, is I think they have actually been okay, just haven't gotten home yet. They've gotten pressures. They've made quarterbacks uncomfortable. I don't think Baker Mayfield really was comfortable at all in that game against Tampa. I think the defensive line's been good, but this is clearly not the elite part of their game that they had last year.
And when
that was their biggest strength was pass rush.
And when you have the injuries in the backside, that's how you can improve if you get after the quarterback a little bit faster. But again, we're 4-0. This is nitpicking time. That's it. That was a big time win at home against the Commanders, division victory.
And I think it's fair to nitpick that stuff.
That's fun.
The one thing I don't get is, because Brian Johnson has one, I think, bad play call, and it was that third and 11 handoff to Kenneth Gainwell. First of all, why is Kenneth Gainwell in? Second, it was a bad call because it's 3rd and 11 and you're running the ball. Like this sweep to the outside. But overall, play calling, I think, has been fine. Like they've scored a bunch of points.
Sure.
Jalen Hurts has been able to find guys downfield. There are players open. There's some questionable things like the quarterback sneak and stuff, but you got to find a way to use Jalen Hurts' ability somehow. I don't know. I think the offenses look fine. I don't think anything wrong with it. And again, we mentioned with Sean Desai, his entire secondary is hurt. So what are they going to do? Even Darius Slay at one point got hurt.
Yeah, he did.
So what are you going to do?
Offensively, it's just not as crisp, and I think a lot has to do with Jalen Hurts at times, but then he has the moments where he's putting the ball on the money, and it's just like, all right, that's him right there. But still, just the offensive play calling, getting some players involved like Dallas Goedert that needs to be featured somewhat more in this offense. I'm not going to throw my hands up in the air again. AJ Brown went off. Devontae had 8-7 catches. Whatever
awesome
it was.
catch
It was
before the
great.
half too. One of the probably the most clutch play of the day was that catch because them getting 3 before the half was huge.
But we know what it looked like last year, right? And that's the bar, and that's where I stand.
But it's never going to look like last year.
It can though,
it
because
can't.
they still.
No,
what are you talking about?
It definitely can.
They still got an unbelievable offensive line that's dealing with an injury right now. All the pieces are there. What are you talking about?
Because
like last year?
It's a different year. It's never. Last year was so perfect. Patrick Mahomes, even I always bring this up all the time because everybody just imagines Patrick Mahomes is playing 100% his best football all the time. No, he's not. But he can still play well in big moments, and they still win a bunch of games. It's the same thing with the Eagles. Last year was insane. Like to put the Eagles on that pedestal, like they're still going to win a bunch of games, and they can have a better record. Whatever. I mean, they had a great record last year, right? The record could be good, but to have the type of numbers that they did, that across the board was unbelievable what they did. I mean, they broke Eagles records over and over and over again.
Didn't they start off with a better start? Didn't they start out with a better start? Like they weren't running the football like they did with DeAndre Swift last year in those first 3 games, right?
No, I mean, Sanders had a good year.
3.
I mean, it was, I don't know when it started, but once they started to get on that run, look, again, they broke records, franchise records.
Understood.
Like it is, you can't do that every year.
I disagree.
That's impossible to do.
I'm not saying breaking records. I'm talking about crispness.
But that's the crispness, though.
No,
they've still been great.
No, it's
not. They like, what bar are we holding them to? We're holding them to last year's
Super Bowl
standard.
championship caliber.
They
bar.
look like it. What other team has looked as good as the Eagles?
No, a great question, and that's what we're running with right now. You can get involved over on our socials at Fox PHO Gambler. I'm with you. Who has looked the best through 4 weeks? Again, you have to put the Eagles in that conversation. You put the 49ers in that conversation. You put the Bills, who lost. You put the Miami Dolphins, who just lost. Who else? The Kansas City Chiefs have to be there out of respect.
Yes.
Even though
they always will be. And I don't care about any game.
Yesterday.
Yeah, it was atrocious. They've had games like that before. I will never take into account not meaningless, but it's a week 4 game on Sunday night against the New York Jets on the road. They got the win. They're fine. There's nothing wrong with the Chiefs.
Look, for me, and you saw the dumb penalties like this. These officials are really chomping to just get after the Eagles, it feels like, right? Woe is me. But come on, that push, and you're going to call offsides. Like, what? How is that even possible? Just weird. So, they're already, the eyes are there from the ref side, and I'm not making any excuses. I just think that there are some drives that they can complete. Get into the red zone. Jalen Hurts said it as much. What would have made yesterday's different as far as finishing drives inside the red zone? That was the team last year, and I know they can do that this year. They still have the best offensive line. I'll put my money on all those guys up front. Now Dickerson does have a foot injury, if I'm not mistaken. He's going to miss a couple.
Juergens does.
Oh, Juergens, excuse me. And that's going to be a tough loss, but this team, what we have known over the past few years is you lose an offensive lineman. They got some pretty good horses in the stable to bounce back up and replace him. We'll see if that's the case here. But I have confidence in Jalen Hurts. I have confidence in Sirianni.
I have confidence in Jalen Hurts.
AJ Brown's a beast.
Yeah, he is.
He's an absolute beast. But like I said, nitpicking Dallas Goedert.
Which is why when guys have that,
when
guys like AJ Brown have that kind of, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, spat on the sideline, sometimes they're right. AJ Brown is a dominant. Everybody wants to make, Devontae Smith the number 1 guy and say he's going to be the breakout. And, technically he's better than AJ Brown, all of that. But AJ Brown is bigger than you. He's faster than you, and he's better than you. Throw the ball up to that guy as many times as you want. And guess what? It worked. His yak is unbelievable. That touchdown pass, he catches it, breaks 2 tackles, and then down the field for a touchdown. The dude is insane. Get it to your best athletes, your best players. And the Eagles did that yesterday, and their offense looked better than it did all year.
Well, they did it in Tampa too, and he dropped. So you got to catch the ball too.
You do got to catch the ball.
Just say, I believe in AJ. Team is locked 4-0.
Have to believe in
At
AJ.
Fox
Great
PHL
game.
Gambler through 4 weeks. Who's impressed you the most? Who's looked the best?